Now that's really worth talking.
Mm.
That connecting, I mean, connecting. Yeah, that's exciting. That's fun. That's glorious. It's touching. That's moving. It's worthy of enthusiasm, being full of God. So once when you're familiar with your own images and you ask yourself to see something, you have some idea of what your body response may be. But you also, since these are living and growing images, they're not on replay like memories. So you, whenever you do that, you always, you do it with some expectation and the hope for a good surprise because you expect one of these images to show something new that you haven't noticed before. So you can feel something different. And so that's the wonder of them, that, you know, life is not the same old blah, 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 because these are exciting and they're full of potentials and possibilities. And furthermore, they have our best interests in mind. Now, you may think that's outrageous thing for me to say, but once you get to know them, you see that they, when we let them, they try to do us a favor. Though they are not like obsessions and compulsions and addictions that, you know, have a hold of us and are not going to let go. They actually have the power to free us from our obsessions and our compulsions and our addictions. That's why we need to get to know them. But it takes a lot of getting used to, since our culture acts as if they don't exist. We overlook them entirely. So just as anybody learning to paint has some idea that watercolors and acrylics and oils behave in different ways because they are different mediums. They have to begin to recognize that eidetic images are different than all the other images that we're used to. And they have to get a feel for the distinct function and capabilities of these images. So that's why we need to recognize them as a distinct, engaging us in a distinct range of imagination where things go differently, behave differently, and have different consequences, and much more hopeful and helpful consequences than what we expect in our memory-oriented, backward, retrospective-oriented consciousness. Eidetic images, once you get them going, you see that they're future-oriented. They're ready to show us what's next. But as long as we're blind to that, we won't even know that that's possible. But once we are open to that, then they are very generous with bringing out new possibilities that are salvific to us. Just to illustrate, if I ask myself to see a tree and I see the house I grew up in and I see very vaguely in the back there some sign of the peach tree. See, that was kind of like a vague memory image, what I just told you.
Yeah.
But when I asked myself to see it identically, I have this image that I've seen before, but I'm very fond of, which is of Janet. She's just walking, and she's walking by the peach tree, huge peach tree in full bloom. And you just see this, I just see this little toddler kind of pleasantly amazed at this gorgeous bluish pink, full in peach tree in full bloom in the midst of the desert. So, eidetic images are up close and personal. And then, they engage your emotions and motions almost instantly once you are open to them. But if you're stuck in backward looking memory consciousness and keeping your distance, you won't get them. You won't get, but they're there. We all have them. We couldn't make it around the corner if we didn't have them. They're shaping our moves and our moods and our attitudes all the time. But it does take some getting used to open up to that range of imagination. And then once we're into it and with it, we see that they let us get a hold of ourselves and behold each other in far more specific, acute, understanding, perceptive, and relatable ways.
Mm.
Do you have any questions on as far as the importance of recognizing them as being a distinct medium of consciousness is concerned?
Yeah. Well, one is I really felt a desire to invite you into that image with the peach tree now. You don't have to go there if you don't want to, but it's just such a rich image, and you were telling us about it, an image that you had once before, and I just wondered if it would be useful just to demonstrate it now if you see yourself in it and just see what it's like this time around, if that might help really bring it to the foreground more.
Yeah, at the moment, it's bringing to mind the subtlety. I, as imager here, am seeing little Janny and seeing this huge peach tree. And this sense of this 2-3-year-old awe and pleasure. It's a kind of shy pleasure she's taking as she's walking sort of by she's not even walking towards it. She's just sort of by it. But so my immediate sense of it combines my sense of the shyness of her awe and the pleasure of her awe and the radiance of the largesse of all these. So that's my favorite color, that peach blue, peach flower blue. So it's very spacious. I feel that in me, that spaciousness of this flowering. And I I feel also in my own body this little shy loving feeling of hers. It's in, oh my God, whoa, you know what? I just saw it. Why am I gulping? It's so indicative of, I was terribly shy most of my life. And so I just see what that shy is. We talk about people being shy and reserved. You know, children are often depicted as being grabby. And that's why I'm gulping, or, at just how shy I was. Because it's a sort of disastrous to be that shy. But I admire it because maybe that shyness allows her to have the sense of beauty that a grabby soul doesn't
Mm.
necessarily have time for.
How, how's that feel? What do you notice in your body when you tune into that quality of the shyness?
Well, I feel the slight, the backwardness as distinct from the forwardness that it isn't, Uh, but in her at that age, until I just looked at it a little further and realized how actually disabling it is to be shy in this culture. But as me now, I'm just appreciating the shyness in her awe and wonder and sense of beauty. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hearing that there's been a cost to shyness, and I'm hearing that something about that that leaning back a bit of that shyness allowed her to, like, she wasn't doing nothing, she was taking in the beauty of this, which it's easy for me to see that that's a thread that carries through to today in you also, that is really, it's a gift to me, and I know it's a gift to others also.
it's interesting somehow, since we're talking about this, what just came to mind is horses galloping. And I love that image because every time I look for it, boy, I hear them. I hear these horses galloping across the desert. And I'll see the dust rising, but I always hear them.
What do you hear?
It's just this resonance of the hooves on the ground. And they have a very it's very powerful, strong. It's like a cross between a drum beat and a heartbeat.
Mm,
There's something I really love about it. It's powerful. It's resonant. And then yeah, I'm now feeling the forwardness. I feel the forwardness of the shoulders of the horses. It's really nice. It's just, it seems a funny word, nice, but to be in touch with the power of that is such a relief from some of the things I've been being exposed to recently. And we're so far gone, we don't even know what we're missing or losing. And we don't know that how we're contributing to that loss. So that's why, bless your soul that you've gone so far with to do this with me because uh people aren't going to get this out of books. They're going to get it out of sharing it with each other. You can ride my horse. I can see your seal right now, actually. You said that seal that you were swimming with an hour or so ago, right? That had these big, well, dark eyes. I just saw that. I see the gleam, and I'm feeling a little bit of the motion of the water around a seal's body. But I literally, that eye is coming very much to mind, and a certain happiness that you were that close with that seal, and that then your father appreciated it and I'm appreciating it, so that I can even enjoy that swimming with that seal, and then enjoy that the silver serpent that showed up in my mind could even bring that seal out in you. Now that's really worth talking.
Mm.
That connecting, I mean, connecting. Yeah, that's exciting. That's fun. That's glorious. It's touching. That's moving. It's worthy of enthusiasm, being full of God. That power which is healing us. I always think of it associated with the word God.